brief said the car had to carry 2 farmers and 50 kilos of potatoes across a plowed field without breaking the eggs on the back seat. It had to hit 60 kilometers an hour. It could not drink more than 3 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers. It had to be cheap enough for a peasant who had never owned a car in his life to buy one. Simple enough for a village mechanic with zero formal training to fix it with a wrench and some wire. Light enough that 2 people could push it out of a ditch, and the roof had to be tall enough for a farmer to drive it while wearing his hat. The result was so ugly that Citroën's own chairman reportedly said it looked like an umbrella on wheels. Journalists called it a tin snail, a motorized dustbin, the punchline of the 1948 Paris Motor Show. It stayed in production for 42 years. Citroën built nearly 3.9 million of them, and the car that was designed to carry potatoes became one of the most beloved automobiles in European history. This is the Citroën 2CV, the most radical minimalism experiment the car industry has ever attempted. In 1934, Pierre Boulanger became vice president of Citroën after Michelin took control of the struggling automaker. Boulanger wasn't a typical car executive. He understood something most of the industry had missed, that France in the 1930s was still overwhelmingly rural. Millions of farmers were still getting around on horses and carts. The automobile had transformed city life, but it hadn't reached the countryside because no manufacturer had built a car cheap enough, rugged enough, or simple enough for a farmer to justify owning one. So Boulanger issued one of the strangest design briefs in automotive history. Carry 4 people and 50 kilos of goods, reach 60 kilometers an hour, burn no more than 3 liters per 100 kilometers, cross a plowed field without cracking a basket of eggs on the back seat. The suspension had to handle terrain that had no roads at all. The car had to be fixable by someone with no mechanical training. And, according to legend, the roof had to fit a farmer wearing his hat. This wasn't a brief for a small car. It was a brief for the minimum viable automobile, a machine stripped down to nothing but what was strictly necessary to move people and goods across rural France. Every luxury, every decoration, every part that wasn't earning its place, gone. What was left had to survive the worst conditions a French farmer could throw at it. Engineer André Lefebvre and designer Flaminio Bertoni took that brief and spent 5 years turning it into prototypes. Lefebvre was already one of the sharpest engineers in France, having worked on the revolutionary traction Avant. Bertoni was a sculptor turned car designer. The same instincts that shaped the 2CV would later give the world the DS, arguably the most beautiful car of the 20th century. Together, they treated the 2CV not as a normal car project, but as an exercise in stripping a machine down to its essentials. By 1939, 250 pre-production cars were ready to go. Then, Germany invaded. Boulanger ordered almost all of them destroyed so the technology wouldn't fall into German hands. A handful survived, hidden on farms and in barns across the French countryside. The 2CV wouldn't see the public for another 9 years. When it finally debuted at the 1948 Paris Motor Show, the reaction was immediate and brutal. The automotive press had spent the post-war years covering a glamorous European design renaissance, curvy Alfa Romeos, chrome-heavy American imports, elegant Jaguars, and into that world walked a car that looked like it had been designed by a committee of accountants who hated joy, but almost nothing about it was accidental. The corrugated bonnet wasn't a styling choice. Corrugated metal is stronger than flat metal at the same thickness, so Citroën could use thinner, lighter steel without losing structural strength. The canvas rollback roof wasn't a convertible feature. It was cheaper than steel, and it let farmers load tall cargo like hay bales or furniture straight through the top of the car. Even the single headlight on early models wasn't a design decision. It was simply the legal minimum in France at the time. When the law changed, Citroën added a second. Every detail the press mocked was doing a job. The car wasn't ugly by accident. It was ugly because beauty costs money, adds weight, and does nothing for you on a plowed field. And underneath the jokes was engineering that was anything but primitive. The air-cooled flat twin engine displaced just 325 cubic centimeters and made 9 horsepower. Top speed was around 65 kilometers an hour. Laughable numbers even in 1948. But the suspension was a genuine masterpiece. Fully interconnected front and rear through horizontal coil springs running the length of the car, giving the 2CV a ride on rough terrain that cars costing 10 times as much couldn't match. It could lean dramatically through corners without losing composure because the geometry was built to keep all 4 wheels planted no matter how much the body rolled. What looked alarming from the outside was actually the system doing exactly what it was designed to do, soaking up ruts and holes that would wreck a normal car's running gear within weeks. The body panels bolted on and could be swapped. The seats were essentially hammocks, tubular steel frames with canvas stretched across them, removable to use as picnic chairs. The doors could be unbolted entirely. Heating on early models was just the engine's waste heat piped into the cabin through a duct. There wasn't even a fuel gauge. You checked the tank with a dipstick. Anything that could be cut was cut. Anything left had a job to do. It was minimalism not as a design philosophy, but as an economic necessity. And it worked. The 2CV did exactly what Boulanger's brief demanded. It motorized rural France. Farmers who had never owned a car could suddenly afford one. Village doctors could reach patients on roads that defeated normal vehicles. Priests, vets, and rural postmen relied on it as everyday transport across terrain with no asphalt, no grading, often no defined road surface at all. That legendary suspension meant the car could cross plowed fields, climb rutted farm tracks, and handle unpaved village lanes that would tear apart a normal car in weeks. Stories spread of 2CVs crossing North Africa, the Sahara, mountain passes that gave contemporary four-wheel drives trouble. Its lightweight, long suspension travel, and low center of gravity let it do things its spec sheet said it shouldn't be able to do. Fuel economy was extraordinary. The tiny engine sipped fuel at rates modern hybrids struggle to beat. Maintenance needed almost no specialist knowledge. If it broke, you could usually fix it with basic hand tools, a torch, and some wire. Any farmer who serviced his own tractor could service a 2CV without ever opening a manual. The waiting list stretched to years. Citroën prioritized farmers and rural professionals over city buyers. A car built for the poorest customers in France became so popular the company couldn't build them fast enough. At one point, the list reportedly ran past 5 years, and buyers would sell their place in the queue for more than the car itself cost, and the price was the final piece. The 2CV wasn't priced to compete with other cars. It was priced to compete with the horse. The actual horse French farmers were still relying on. Boulanger understood his customer wasn't choosing between a 2CV and a Renault. He was choosing between a 2CV and keeping the horse. The car had to cost less than feeding, housing, and maintaining a working animal. And it did. Over 42 years of production, the 2CV evolved, but the philosophy never budged. The engine grew from 375cc to 425, then 602. A second headlight arrived when the law demanded it. Power eventually climbed to a mighty 29 horsepower. The corrugated bonnet got smoothed out. Comfort improved, slightly, decade by decade, but every update served function. Nothing was added for style, for marketing, or because a competitor was doing it. While the rest of the European industry kept piling on features, power, weight, and complexity with every new model year, the 2CV stayed stubbornly, defiantly minimal. Even decades after the rural France it was built for had largely disappeared. The platform turned out to be remarkably flexible. The fourgonnette was a small delivery van that became the backbone of rural French commerce. Bakeries, butchers, and postal routes all ran fleets of them. The Mairie was a plastic-bodied utility vehicle for rough terrain, essentially a beach buggy on 2CV mechanicals, used by farmers, lifeguards, the French military, and anyone who needed something they could hose out. The Ami offered a more enclosed, comfortable version of the same mechanical simplicity. The Dian tried to bridge the 2CV and Citroën's more upscale models. Each one pushed the 2CV's mission somewhere its original designers never imagined. It also picked up a following nobody predicted. Students, artists, bohemians, young professionals who chose it. Not because they were poor, but because they were rejecting the consumer culture bigger, pricier cars stood for. The 2CV became a symbol of anti-materialism, of choosing simplicity over status. In a continent obsessed with automotive prestige, the 2CV was the car that said you had better things to worry about than what you drove. Production finally ended on July 27, 1990, at the Mangualde factory in Portugal. By then, 3,172,583 of them had been built across factories in France, Belgium, Portugal, Chile, and beyond. The car the press had mocked in 1948 had outlasted nearly every vehicle that stood beside it at that motor show. The last one rolled off the line 56 years after Boulanger wrote the brief that started it all. Its end was mourned across Europe in a way no other economy car ever has been. This wasn't a car people tolerated because they couldn't afford better. It was a car people loved because it stood for something they actually valued: function without pretension, engineering without vanity, transportation without status anxiety. Today, the 2CV is one of the most collectible and culturally significant cars in European history. Values have climbed steadily for decades. Its community of owners remains one of the most active in the classic car world. Annual meets across Europe draw thousands of cars and tens of thousands of people, many of whom drive their 2CVs hundreds of miles to get there, because the car was never meant to sit in a museum. It was meant to be used. Its influence runs far beyond its own production run. Every modern car that puts function over form, simplicity over complexity, affordability over aspiration owes something to what Boulanger laid down in 1934. The Renault 4, the Fiat Panda, the original Volkswagen Golf, even the Dacia Sandero, all carry an echo of the same idea. A car should be exactly as much car as you need, and nothing more. The difference is, none of them took it as far as the 2CV did. None of them were willing to give up style, comfort, and convention as completely as Boulanger demanded. The 2CV remains the purest expression of automotive minimalism ever attempted. A car reduced to its absolute essence and kept there for 4 decades. In an era where the average new car weighs close to 2 tons, costs more than a house deposit, and packs more computing power than the Apollo spacecraft, the 2CV's philosophy feels less like nostalgia and more like a challenge. The modern industry adds complexity because complexity sells. More screens, more assists, more weight, more cost. The 2CV was built on the opposite idea, that the best car is the one with the fewest things to go wrong, the lowest cost to keep running, and the simplest possible connection between driver and road. Pierre Boulanger never got to see the full impact of what he'd started. He died in a car accident in 1950, just 2 years after the 2CV's debut. But the car he commissioned outlived him by 40 years, and it's still shaping how engineers and designers think about what a car actually needs to be. the 2CV's legacy was never about speed, luxury, or technology. It's the radical idea that a car doesn't need to be fast, powerful, or beautiful to change the world. It just needs to do its job reliably, affordably, for the people who need it most. Boulanger asked for a car that could carry eggs across a plowed field. What he got was a machine that carried an entire country from the age of the horse into the age of the automobile, one farmer at a time. 9 horsepower, canvas seats, a corrugated bonnet, a car so ugly the press called it a tin snail, and 42 years of production that proved every single critic wrong. The Citroën 2CV is proof that the most radical engineering isn't always about adding more. Sometimes it's about stripping everything away until only the essential remains. That's what Pierre Boulanger asked for in 1934. That's what André Lefebvre and Flaminio Bertoni built. And that's why, 90 years later, the 2CV still matters. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments. Have you ever driven a 2CV? And is there a modern car that still captures that same spirit of radical simplicity? Or has the industry left that idea behind completely?